Okay, that should be a good place to start. So, if you've been following the videos up to now, you skipped 6.5. I'm currently on a new server because of certain shenanigans. But it was earlier, it was early enough in the actual, like, thing that I can actually just really quickly, like, get back to where I was in about, like, 10 hours or so of play. The hardest part was actually getting Weaver back up to 90. Originally, I had Goldsmith up to 90 so I can craft more glamour prisms, but I kind of don't care right now because I'm just trying to more or less just like push through as hard as possible right now. Yeah, I believe that I've already done this on screen, so I'm just kind of like skipping through it. There we go. How to meld materia. Complete. And there we go. Now we know how to extract and meld materia again. Gonna just set those right there. You may have noticed that I've actually changed up how things are right now. Primarily what's going on over here. So you might notice that there's different like symbols that are down here. They still mean roughly the same thing, but until I get my job stones, all of the classes are going to have this default like color with if they're tank, DPS, or healer. And I honestly feel like that's probably the best way to go about it. Mostly because I feel like just the plain white symbol is kind of boring. But in doing that, if you didn't know, they have these custom symbols for the crafting classes in it's called macros. So I currently have all these macros set up for the different classes and stuff. And so it works the same way as if I were to have taken the actual gear set and dragged it over. It's just instead of these symbols, I use these symbols. So Goldsmith has a ring, Weaver has a hat, Alchemist has a potion. You know, very simple. One second. Man, I hate every season except for winter. I have allergies like all of the year. Second it hits summer, I just get hit with the worst allergies. As you can see, I didn't really do much with the hunting log right now, and it's mostly because I didn't want to overlevel too much. Because all I need to do is get the dungeon at level 15, which is exactly where we currently are right now. So I don't really need to worry too much about it. Unfortunately, it means that I can't do certain things that would have required me to be a higher level, but that's okay, because none of the things that I have shown off needed 25. I could have gone to 30 before we even leave Thanalan, but I kind of realized that I didn't need to. Like I kind of said, like, level 15 is usually where the crafting classes kind of, like, stop. And the crafting and gathering classes don't really have a good place to engage with the story up until, like, level 20 or so. So, none of that really mattered. So, being at level 15 and doing the level 15 story was good enough. We could just leave that where it is until we get back here. But we still have this. Letter to Lost Hope. Wait a second. Not user macro. How does that help? Huh. That's weird. Oh, no wonder. It's because I didn't actually grab that one. Yeah, so I'm basically currently working off of where was the last thing we did, and where do we go from here? And I think I'm gonna just beeline with the story. If you, the TLDR of 6.5, if you skipped it, is I'm only grabbing one class from each area for now. And just going on with that, because in A Realm Reborn, you only needed one of each of the three colors. So one blue tank, one green healer, one red DPS. You only need one of those. Unfortunately, we've kind of pigeonholed ourselves into what we wanted because I wanted to do those classes through the entirety of the game. So I'm kind of stuck with either doing 3 in one and then 1 in another. You know? Big mess. Either way, I feel like what we're aiming for right now is fine. I honestly would have preferred a better set of things to happen, but it's okay. Right now, we don't really need to worry about it too much. And if we could just keep considering Paladin as our main class throughout the entirety of the game, and all the other classes as supplemental, and all of the tertiary stuff as just being there for story purposes up until like Shadowbringers, in which they start doing role quests instead of job quests. That's perfectly fine with me, because most of this, and the reason why it's referred to as story mode, like I've been referring to it as like a story mode type thing, is because I just want to tell the story. I want to show things. Like, I don't want to get bogged down with, you know, the minutia. I want to show everything. Okay. Pray, allow me to enlist your aid, brave adventurer. I would have you ascertain the whereabouts of a missive I sent the Lost Hope the other day. Captain Leofric, stationed there. Ever since he was transferred, we've exchanged letters, but never has he taken this long to receive a reply. And so I fear that the courier may have met with some misfortune en route. She would have made it to Central Thanalan, or the brass blades that patrolled the roads between here and Scorpion Crossing would have said something, but if she made it as far as Black Brush Station, she would have surely delivered the letter by now. Lost Hope is practically on its doorstep. Suggest you focus your search along the road to Blackbrush Station in Central Thanalan. With luck, you'll find her quickly. Okay. Very simple. You might hear me breathing heavily and, like, reaching over to drink something, because this one's filmed live, and I'm not really going to be editing too much of it. Especially parts where I'm directly talking, at least. And I honestly think that that might be the situation going forward, because I have this really bad problem of not liking editing at all, ever, not touching it ever. It's why I had to ask Flash to help me with editing a lot of the time. Because me, being one of those OCD perfectionists, look at a project and go, I must get it done completely. If you look at the work that Flash did with me on Pokemon Let's Go, like, that whole thing with, like, the cards and stuff was my idea, and I wanted to implement it, but man, was that a pain to do. And me telling him that I wanted to do the podcast again did not strike confidence in him. Might be showing up on those, but who knows. Either way, we got this game to play, and luckily, we can see the Chocobo right there. So there isn't really too much going on right now. again, I might finish up the hunting log off screen again, but it's not really that important, to be honest. A letter. I have got Fufalupa's missive right here. I won't be delivering it anytime soon, though. I've got to tend to my bird's injured leg first. Even the most minor of cuts can fester if ignored. Fufalupa sent you, right? If this is a pressing matter, then why won't you take it the rest of the way? I hope... Lost Hope's just past Blackbrush Station to the northeast. Look for the tents by the river. Okay. Very, very simple. But I honestly feel like... Oh, completely forgot to pull these out. I'm gonna put those back in a bit, but like I'm just pulling it out for my own well-being. Like, again, you could probably tell that I changed up a lot of like UI elements, just so I can have things more shifted over to the right side of the screen, since most of it is dominated by my character portrait. I kind of want to get one for blue because let me see if I could find it. I think I still have it. Seeing my stuff. So right after I finish with the last few of these. I should be able to find it relatively quickly. Like, I think it's... Oh, thanks! Should just be... Yes. It is... Yeah, both of them are sitting right in my, Both of them are sitting right in my characters folder. Let me just pull open the pause bumper right now so you can see it. Sources... yeah, I'll just use this one since it's not really something I use anymore. Let's go to this. Okay, so I actually got this image from something that I was subbed to on Patreon for a while because they were doing headshot commissions for people that were subbed for like $20 and stuff, but because so many people want them, very limited. So up until I stopped doing that, I was getting like one of just a random character that I thought looked really cool, like a month. It was kind of worth it, but not really worth it, to be honest. I love their art though. Scruffy Turtles on Twitter made this really cool looking picture for her, and I think it looks really good. So I'm gonna just leave that right there in case I ever want to bring it back up. He also did one for my main character, but that's with no, I don't want to quit out OBS. I wanted to quit out of picture. There we go. Of my actual like main character I play, but the problem is that he's using he was using an older picture of that character, and his overall design has kind of changed somewhat, especially since I've gone from being I'm gonna just say human because it's still very D&D focused. You know, a healer human. Because I was more of a humanoid character, and I switched to VR at some point, so I kind of like the way my character looks now. But that's beside the point, you know? I just feel like I like Blue, it's why I keep using her character design and stuff. Even though I had restarted this whole series, like I got all the way up to like level 50 before I just shoved all of the footage down the toilet, because I wanted to try to get like original, like pre Endwalker footage for like A Realm Reborn, but I just wasn't fast enough, and so I just delayed it until they came up with more stuff for me to do, which I honestly think was a better idea. Just passing through, or will you be staying a while? A sealed message written by Brassblade Fufalupa of the Rose to his former Captain Leofric. Oh, whoops. I've never actually heard that soundbite because I've never actually, like, unequipped that. Fufalupa sent you all the way because of a late letter? That boy is still far too honest. Despite my demotion, he continues to call me Captain. I suspect he has no idea what it actually means to be transferred to Lost Hope either. The Brassblades do not give a Kirkin's arse about this settlement, and no one in Ul'dahn does. All here have been forsaken adventure. The refugees, their protectors, and you'll be too if you're seen associating with us. Thank you for the letter. Now, for a good leave. Again, like a bunch of like quest markers appear here because, as he says, it seemed like that we were here for a while. I kind of wish that it's one of these lamentable things that I wish that I had actually jumped in on the game when I was originally looking into it at like 2.5. So like, when things were like gearing up for Heavensward, because I could have really captured like what the game was like back then, but I was a dumb teenager and I had no commitment for anything. Kind of like now actually. Yeah, Leofric has a request for an adventurer looking to do some good. I thought I told you to get out of here. What are you looking for? The chance to do some good? I guess I can't force you to leave. Damn stubborn adventurers, a lot of you. Fine though, listen well. Oh, hello Revy. A band of outlaws has taken up residence at the Corporon Mons on the bridge to the south. Their leader has styled themselves heir to Elond Quiverin, the syndicate member who died in the calamity. The Baron and his cronies are not more than a pack of jackals. They prey on the people of Lost Hope, robbing them of what little they have. I myself cannot act without endangering the refugees, as they know I face, and will retire against Lost Hope. You, however, are not known to the bandits and their allies, and if you wish to help us, then deal with the Baron. Good evening. Just doing this for... Yeah. I'm just going through on my alt character, just slowly going through the game. And like all the story for it. I've just always wanted to just capture the story for my own well-being. You know? I actually completely missed the way I was supposed to go. Yeah. Honestly, I kind of like, I like my Viera character, but there's still something so nice about my, Mikote character that I just really like her a lot. That's good. So, one of the reasons why I didn't want to actually use the New Game Plus function is because there is tiny things in the story that it misses. And the small things that it misses really irked me, and I was going to do that. But, I eventually just came to the conclusion that I had to basically just make a whole character and do it that way. Or else I was going to basically go insane, because as an OCD person, I'm a perfectionist when it comes to that kind of thing. It also gives me a time to play around with early game stuff as well. Which, it always kind of intrigues me with Final Fantasy XIV specifically. how much they give to an early game player. And yeah, how much they actually give to early game players and what they can do. Like, for instance, the crafting stuff is really funny because the game does not expect you to be able to do anything past level... they expect you to have only done, like, level 10, and then somehow get all the way up to level 50 without doing any story beat, which is really, really, really interesting. Like, several storylines act like none of the important characters know who you are, even though by level 10, level 10? Level 15, they should actually know who you are, because you had to meet with all of them before you go into the first dungeon. And I just find that really funny. But yeah, another thing is that, if I remember correctly, New Game Plus does not allow you to replay side quests, and there are some really interesting side quests that I wanted to show off that I can't do because when I was playing my original character, I basically got to level 80 by doing every single side quest in A Realm Reborn, Heavensward, and Stormblood. So I have, like, no side quests in any of that I've actually, like, that I can actually go back and do at this point. So is it done? Good, I hope that wretch died screaming. Ul'dahn is a more prosperous than ever, some say. That may be true for the Syndicate, but none of that wealth has trickled down to the small folk. It's all a mummer's farce. One day, I refused to play my part, and so I was made to leave the stage. Now my time has passed. The brass blades of the rose must look to others for guidance. Yeah, the gloves that I currently have on are a little bit too good to be replaced by this level 12 stuff. As you may have noticed, I am in no shape to leave Lost Hope right now, so in my stead, I'd like you to return to Horizon and give this dagger to Footfalls. Although it's just an old ornamental dagger, it belongs with the brass blades of the rose. I should have given it to the boy before I came here. Okay. This ornamental dagger has remained in possession of the brass blades of the rose for centuries, traditionally passed down to a new captain when an old one retires. Huh. By the way, yeah, you could definitely see that I've actually been storing up a lot of the materials I've been getting, because I completely forgot that an element of this is doing all of the class, job, and role quests, and some of that requires me to get really high levels in several classes, several crafting classes, and it would be beneficial if I just held on to some of the early game crafting items. Like, I actually figured out that, like, I still have the cinnabar here, that, like, holding on to, like, some of this stuff is going to be easier for me going forward, but, like, I was actually surprised with how often some A Realm Reborn crafting items just creep back up during Stormblood. Like, there was like a level like 59, I think. No, 68. I think that's around there. A level 68 item that requires, like, hempen yarn. And I was like, and I just looked at that and I'm like, what? Like, let me see if I can actually find it. I don't think I'll be able to. It should be under cloth. Nope. Guess not. I guess it's only showing me things that I personally would be able to use, which is fair. Also, an odd little, like, UI thing that I've really, like, come to enjoy is moving the text from the corner to the center, and I don't know what it is, but something about that, like, made it really a lot more easy to read. Maybe it's because, like, I just have bad vision, but, like, having the numbers on screen and being able to, like, suss them out from, like, the distance that I'm sitting from my screen, like, all these, like, UI elements are small to me. Like, I know certain people that have, like, an incredibly small UI, just an incredibly small bar, like, down here, and they don't really do anything else. And to me, that's like way too small of UI elements. It's why like the text box is so big, so I can actually read it. Like I know that I don't have the best vision, but like I'm also sitting like 6 feet away from my screen, and it's only like 1080p screen, so it's not really too big. But I used to have a roommate who had like this massive 4K screen that he sat 20 feet away in like a chair with tiny UI elements, and he was able to see everything, and I was completely astounded that he was able to even see what was going on in his house. Hey, Fufalupa, how you doing? Ah, Blue, I received word from Captain Leofric the other day. Thank you for delivering this letter to me. Well, why do you have the dagger? Only a captain of the Brass Blades of the Rose are permitted to possess it. Captain Leofric says I'm to have it? Nah, that must be some mistake. He couldn't possibly mean to tell me that. No, of course not. I'm not really to wield it. Nevertheless, I shall respect the captain's wishes and take the dagger in the safekeeping until he comes to reclaim it. Fufalupa needs you to assist his fellow Brass Blades. Okay. The Brass Blades of the Rose have need of your assistance. What's more, Blue? The thaumaturges of the ossuary are presently surveying the Footfalls for ancient relics. As the area is rife with wild beasts, the Horizon garrison has been charged with their security. But Captain Baldwin sent only a handful of brass blades. Despite his assurances to the contrary, such a small unit cannot possibly be sufficient to protect our patrons. I would have you offer your assistance to my comrades. Pray travel to the Footfalls and speak with Totarunda. You know, after kind of doing the storyline, I kid you not, like 4 times, and kind of like sitting down, Fufalupa is deliberately written as the only good cop on the force, and he's a little bit too innocent. I'm gonna use the word innocent, even though I know it's not the word I should be using, but it's completely similar. But he's a little bit too... Yeah, he doesn't realize that he's working with crooked people, and it's kind of sad. A bleeding venturer came to help? And I ain't heard anything from Captain Baldwin about this, so only trusted men only. Anyway, we've got this under control, and besides, the operation ain't got nothing to do with Fufalupa. Boy's got a stick up his arse the size of a sabo tender. No wonder the captain told him to stay in Horizon. Comparison... Yeah, let's get that. There we go. And then I will... Yeah, I'll just set that stuff right there. Actually, I'll just bring this stuff down. Actually, again, I'm gonna slot that in, but I'm actually waiting until we're done with this whole storyline to do that, because I think us completing the storyline is a little bit more important right now. Technically we should be doing Totorunda's, like, little, like, story bit right here because it's important, but again, it's one of those pieces that were culled for the sake of pacing. Oh, that one's actually better, so we can actually just get the money instead. Hey, adventurer, mind running a message to Crescent Cove for us? Captain Baldwin's planning some festivities for the thaumaturges, see, and he wants them treated with the finest food and drink. Nothing but the best for our distinguished guests, eh? Head west and south to the village and tell Rafe that he is to deliver a bounty of fresh fish to the horizon for the feast. Okay. You know, it is actually kind of funny. I think I may have mentioned it in, like, episode, like, 1 or 2, but the beginning of A Realm Reborn has this distinct, yes, you are basically an MMO errand boy. And again, I've played a few MMOs over the years, but it really does feel like that in most MMOs, they kind of see you, the main character, as an errand boy, in which you're like, hey, you're not the main character, please go off and tell the actual main character the story to do this. Which is what World of Warcraft does a lot. Or like how Ion does it, where you fulfill this, like, ancient prophecy to become, like, a hero among the people, and then you go up to their version of, like, dang it, why am I forgetting the name? Where you go up to, it's not Mount Olympus, it's, you go to Valhalla, effectively, and you're standing there with a bunch of, like, old, wizened, heroes that have also, like, done immense things, and you realize that you've basically been drafted into a hero's army in which nothing you do actually matters, because everyone that got drafted up there has also done incredible feats, but you're just a cog in a system, and now you're one of the host of angels who are there to basically defend the afterlife, effectively. And I actually kind of like that part of Ion's story, where you are made to feel both big and small at the same time. You could walk into, like, a group of, like, civilians, and you could be worshipped as a god, but then you, like, walk in with your peers, and they're like, hey, Towelboy, can you get me this? And it's a funny juxtaposition, because that happens on both sides of this army, you know? Fresh fish for Captain Baldwin. Of course, we'll do our best, madam. Unfortunately, we had a poor catch in recent days on account of the rough seas. More boats should be returning soon, but I cannot promise that their catch will please. But don't mind, milady. The captain will have his fresh fish, I swear it. Funny story about those rough seas. If I actually did go through with my original plan, which you are very thankful that I did not go with my original plan, to actually showcase all three starting story bits, like, in order that they go in level, you were very thankful for that. You would have actually known that around this time, the Sahagin were, like, doing some pretty weird stuff with the ocean, and it basically made it so that the fishers from both Thanalan and Vilbrant couldn't even, like, good fishing. So the characters that start over there had to, like, manhandle the, like, coastline back from the Sahagin during this time. Makes a lot of sense. Merlida may have stumbled upon a secret. You're the adventurer, are you not? I know this is sudden, but I have no one else to turn to. Last night, a gang of bandits from the Corvon Monts were up in their cups, and I overheard them discussing some plans. 1 second as I, No, that is not the one I was looking for. we go. I always forget to pull that back up. There. And drag this back over right there. It seems they've come to collect gemstones stolen from Copbell mines. Nashakite, I think I heard one of them say, they're to meet with their co-conspirators soon at the Footfalls. What'd you say? Oh, hey, Fufalupa. Illicit exchanges of shadowy dealings. The Brass Blades cannot abide with such malfeasance. Forgive my eavesdropping, Blue. I came to Crescent Cove merely to thank you in person. I never imagined I'd uncover a criminal conspiracy right outside Horizon's gates. We must act quickly if we are to apprehend these thieves. I'll notify Captain Baldwin at once. What? No, you mustn't. Oh, gods. You must stop him before it's too late. Captain Baldwin himself is working with the bandits. Oh no, shock and horror. Who could have seen this coming? Like, it's so funny that it's like, oh man, the guy who specifically is kind of a jerk and doesn't want too many people around to interfere with his smuggling operation. Who could have guessed? Oh, it's a fate thing. Okay, I was a little confused for a second. I'm like, what is this NPC doing? Captain Baldwin, I've discovered something shocking, something horrible. Someone's been stealing gemstones from Copbell mines and... Wait, those gauntlets, those boots. Why, you're one of Quiver's men. Sir, that man is a thief and a scoundrel. And what of it, his coin is good and that's what counts. What? Captain Baldwin, are you working with these men? It cannot be. I told you to stay in Horizon, Fufalupa. Didn't have to be this way. If they'd gotten their Nashakite, I'd get my gil and no one would be the wiser. But sir, what if your crimes were uncovered? What if Lord Lolorito finds out? You goddamn fool, don't you see? I'm acting under the authority of Lord Lolorito himself. No, that can't be. Why do you think people join the Brass Blades, Fufalupa? To serve and to protect? Ha, we're not the bloody flames here. We do this for coin. You there, adventurer. Do you remember me well? Well, I remember you. Esquire the Fourth. You know, I didn't point it out this time, but the character that we killed was Baron von Quiveren the Third. Yeah, you killed my brother, and now I'm gonna return the favor. I honestly just think it's the same guy, because I don't think I actually killed him. I think I just knocked. I left him half alive, and he just keeps coming back as a different person. Although it would be really funny. Well, that settles it. Clearly, everyone's in best interest that both of you just die. Gonna take this guy out. Man, I'm so used to actually doing the my rotation with Paladin since I've been actually playing it a lot more on my main character. But I honestly think that, like, I instantly tried to do, like, the full combo with the way the buttons are set up, because, again, I have it set up the exact same way on both, on this and my normal character. Duty complete. By the way, I failed this the first time I was doing it on my original playthrough, and I have immense shame about that, because that was the first time I died as well. That's enough, Baldwin. Your partner is dead. Your plans are undone. You've got no reason left to fight. Stay out of this, Leofric. I don't take orders from you. I may have spared your life before, but if you interfere, I will not show you mercy. And what mercy will he show, I wonder? You who have done so much in another man's name. What are you blathering on about? Every fisherman in Crescent Cove know that you are meeting, you arrogant fool. The Corvin's men wouldn't keep their mouths shut. Imagine Lord Lotterito's surprise when he learns that a rank-and-file brass blade was using his name to advance personal agenda. He knows? 7 hells, but I'm a captain, he wouldn't... I was once a captain too, remember? And we both know what happened to me. Well fought, boy. You've done the brass blades of the Rose proud. Captain Leofric, Captain Baldwin, he said that Lord Lotterito wouldn't waste his time on a small-scale smuggling operation. This is what Baldwin's doing. What else did he say? That our brethren know better, and that each and every one cares not but coin. Mere excuses that justify his schemes. Aye, we've got no shortage of greedy souls. Of greedy sods. Some who would probably sell their own mothers into slavery if the price was right. But there are men like you, Fufalupa. Men good and true, whom the small folk respect. That's the word. Well, I gave you the dagger. The brass blades of the roads needs a leader with honor, and you're the most honorable man I know. Oh, Captain. Thank you for all your help, Blue. The Captain and I will escort Captain Baldwin back to Horizon. Pay me a visit in town when you next return. Okay. You know, this is actually going a lot faster than before. For context, in my, in the original footage of this, so, I got to around this point at what would normally be considered, like, episode 9, and it was about, like an hour into it. And again, it was because I was literally doing every class, and me whittling it down to only about, like, 3 or 5 main classes that I really focus on really help. Again, I'm still debating whether or not I want to actually do, like, a tank and effectively 2 casters. But I really do want to set up those classes in particular because you learn so much about the world through them. Welcome back, Blue. So much has happened. Captain Baldwin has been arrested and stripped of rank, which means the Brass Blades of the Rose no longer have a captain. Till a new one is designated, I have been ordered to serve as acting captain of the Horizon Garrison. Though doubtless it is only a temporary arrangement, I will do my utmost to represent my brethren and protect the people of Horizon. Thank you, Blue, for your service to the Sultanate. You are a true hero. Fufalupa will entrust you with a matter of grave import. I salute you, honored friend. As acting captain, I should be much obliged if you would grant me a personal request. In our efforts to ascertain the full extent of the former captain's corruption, we've been poring over his personal correspondence. Our search unearthed this sealed letter addressed to a man named Owen. But he's one of the Sultan's sworn elite. I could think of no reason why he should have any dealings with Baldwin. We now know the former captain was consulting with a coalition of criminals. Could be that Owen was too. This letter may as well serve as evidence for their collusion, so I dare not tamper with it myself, but given the events of recent days, I knew not whom to trust with this information until now. I have chosen you, Blue. Pray, bear this letter to Mistress Momody of the Quicksand, and relate this circumstance to the circumstances of the discovery. Not only is she a staunch supporter of the Sultana, but she is well acquainted with the Sultansworn. She will know how best to respond. Okay. Okay, we're gonna just run back here. You know, interesting little thing that I kind of am very glad that I started as a gladiator with this, and it's because most of the Sultansworn are made up of paladins, which is effectively where you get your jobstone for paladin. And again, like, I specifically picked classes where you deal with the most amount of story for an area. I picked White Mage because they really do talk about how nature kind of, like, deals with it. I picked Lancer and Archer because they deal with the people of the forest a lot, and also because they're canonical classes that the Warrior of Light takes in Final Fantasy XIV. But one of the reasons why I'm actually really looking forward to sitting down with Arcanist is because I kind of rushed through that story the first time, and I never really gave it any real thought going into it. But again, it's the classes that I deliberately picked were because they talk about the places that they come from and the greater world as a whole. And I honestly think that all three of the Heavensward classes do that really well. I think that the canonical Shadowbringers classes and the ones that they added in don't really do too much in that sort of way. But I will admit, though, that it really does feel like, especially with the story of Shadowbringer, with the story of Stormblood, you really needed a melee character to go through that, because me playing through Stormblood as a white mage, and then getting into a fist fight with a character to replicate the trailer footage was really funny, because I was literally playing the character as this he was literally in a like a nerdy school outfit, and he was like doing like monk stuff, like out of character. I'm like, this is really funny. Ah, Blue, it's been too long. Thanalan tells me that you've been keeping busy at Horizon. I want you to know that I'm grateful for everything that you've done for the people of Ul'dahn, and even though you've seen the seedier side of our city, you've continued to help your fellow man. Believe me, the folk around here love you for it. What is it? You look like you have something to say. A letter addressed to Sultansworn Elite Owen. So, that's what this is all about. Fufalupa thinking Owen might be in league with Baldwin. Was that this letter could be proof of something shady. Well, he needn't worry. Owen's a loyal Sultansworn as I've ever known. I'm the foggiest what this says, but... Wait a moment. Wasn't Owen the one who... Oh, hells, I've got a bad feeling about this. Listen, Blue. I think I know what this is about, but I need you to answer... I need you to swear to keep it quiet. If you'd rather wash your hands of this business, I won't hold it against you. but you're determined enough to see it through to the bitter end. Say the word, and I'll explain. I love how I mentioned that I'm like, well, I'm gonna go eat, so I don't eat in the middle of a stream. Here I go, taking a small break so I can eat in the middle of the stream. I'll be right back. So, not quite so funny story, but, I just took, a little bit more than the recommended amount of, ibuprofen for my stomach, because my guts really hate me. So, hopefully I don't immediately keel over. I'm eating a lot to kind of, like, try to offset it, but hopefully I don't succumb to a very violent stomach ulcer in the next 2 or 3 hours. Can I count on your discretion, Blue? So, if so, listen closely. Outside world believes Ul'dahn to be a sultanate, ruled by Sultana Nanamo Ul'namo. Truth is, though, it's the 6 wealthiest citizens who hold the most sway, the Syndicate. Be that as it may, the Sultana's still got the support of the people. But she might struggle to keep even that if a certain incident becomes public knowledge. Pains me to say it, but Her Grace's crown, the symbol of her royal dynasty, has been stolen. And Owen owns the Sultan's warrant who was charged with guarding it that night. I'll bet anything this letter was written by the bastards who made off with the crown. Can't be a coincidence that a man that we know that had been fraternizing with the thieves had a letter for Owen of all people at this of all times. I need to take this to the. You need to take this to the man himself, Blue. Tell him Mamodi sent you, and that it concerns a lost heirloom. If it looks as though the fellow needs help, I want you to lend it to him. The future of our fair city may depend on it. Stream's gonna go kind of weird for a second because I'm telling something to someone. Okay, now that I've alerted someone to me possibly removing all my stomach lining, I will... I'm gonna just continue. If anything happens, I guess I'll just collapse. You may think that that's kind of morbid. I know for a fact, as someone who has consumed cleaning fluid during the pandemic, because I was the week back from work and I didn't realize that they literally just poured all that stuff all over, like, everything. So we just started eating off of the bare table. I should be fine. My stomach hates me, but I should still be fine. The heart of the Sworn lies beyond. State your business. Pardon, you said lost heirloom? Proceed. That was my own voice crack. That wasn't the character's voice crack, by the way. Well met, adventurer. What business brings you here this day? A letter. Alright, well, let's see it. There we go. Have you read this, adventurer? Not really. I see, but you have some inkling as to its contents, I think. Mistress Momodi has doubtless explained to you the significance of the crown, and of what its loss could mean for Her Grace the Sultana. This theft shames the Sultan Sworn, me most of all. The blame is mine, you see. I grew lax in my duties, and in a moment of carelessness... No, we'll do no good to recant the tale now. Since the hour of the theft, we've searched frantically for any signs, any whispers as to the whereabouts of the crown. We found nothing. The identity of the thieves, their motives, seemed fate to remain a mystery until you arrived, bearing the ransom note. In it, the criminals state their price for the return of Her Grace's crown. Though it pays me to say it, I fear I have no choice but to acquiesce to their demands. Too much is at stake to do otherwise. The crown symbolizes Her Grace's birthright. It identifies her as the custodian of the old legacy. It must be recovered. I will travel to the unholy Heir and pay them their ransom. Though I'm not foolish enough to meet these men alone, as they stipulate, I dare not bring a host of my comrades lest the thieves might take flight. Fright? Yeah. Friend, would you consent to be present in the exchange? Mistress Momodi has always spoken to you in the most glowing terms, and I have never had reason to question her judgment. On behalf of all those still loyal to the Sultana, I beseech you, help us in our hour of need. Yeah. I think I mentioned this when I actually came up with this this design of this outfit. I actually really like the way that the custom sets look with the login reward outfits. The ones that are basically just outfits from other main characters. So you have Strife from Final Fantasy VII, you have the Lionheart, which is what I'm using right now, from Final Fantasy VIII. You have one that begins with a T that I can't remember from Final Fantasy IX. Then you have the other one from Final Fantasy, the Rose outfit from Final Fantasy II. It's pretty, they're all pretty okay. For magic gear, we want something level 20. Yeah, we could do that. Cancel. Whip. Update. And there we go. Now we got our glasses back. Felt weird without it the whole time. Okay. It's, really feeling it, Mr. Krabs. I'm really feeling it. Oh, it's Dust Storm right now. That's neat. So, I think I may have mentioned this in the previous episode, but now that we are constantly sitting at like a 4-digit number, us teleporting short distances within our area doesn't really seem that too much of a hassle to use. It's only like, and eventually when we get to like a 6-digit number at all times, using 1,000 to teleport across the world basically means nothing. Speaking of things I talked about last time, let me just there we go. Now, I think I may have mentioned this in episode 6, but me having that little tag means it so that, like, people will actually, like, engage with me less. Where it's like, no, I'm, like, actively doing something, I don't want to be, like, interrupted. We're just sitting here waiting. Oh, I just realized that I was muted. I've come as agreed. Now show me the crown. You have your precious crown, once we've been duly compensated. Do you think me a fool? What assurance have that I... Oh my gosh, that syntax. What assurance have I that you will honor your part to that agreement? Now, Owen, you are the least trustworthy man here. Not only was the crown stolen under your watch, but it looks to me that you violated the terms of our exchange. Did we not say that you were to come alone? And given that you are not alone, what guarantee that have we that there isn't a company of archers surrounding us even as we speak? Where the feather me and my men the moment they catch a glimpse of the crown. You have made mock of our trust. The deal is off. Wait, here's your payment as promised. Invisible item being passed from one person to another. You know, it's really funny. Even in like Final Fantasy 16, they still have that problem. Liquids are no longer a problem, but like actually passing physical items from one person to another, where the model is not clipping into each other, it's actually physically interacting and all the physics are good, that's where our problem lies. We've fixed liquids, we have almost fixed shadows, we can't physically pass one thing to another without changing out the character model. We're almost there. We're almost there, gamers. Aye, 'tis the real thing. I've always loved the sniff that he does here because it reminds me of, I think it's called Grindhouse. Grindhouse Double Feature, where it's like, where he's like leaning down and he sees like the spatter of blood and he puts him on his finger and licks it and goes, that's real blood. 1,000 thanks to you, boy. You've succeeded where scores of thieves have failed. And now, at long last, we have it. Power to create an army of undying soldiers. The traitor spurn. No! It can't be. What have I done? Surely you have wondered what it was that you were handing over. What could have seemed so valuable to us as the crown seemed to you, or did you assume that you were feeling charitable? You must feel terrible knowing that you brought us the Dumasil Dill. Worry not, boy. We'll grant you a quick death to spare you further ignominy. Basically, he was just talking about, like, 1.0 stuff. Like, most of the, like, beginning story for, like, each of the 3 city-states directly interact with a, with an element of 1.0 that was kind of just like hanging here. And these guys in purple were basically the bad guys for this area. And there was like a group bad guys of each one of the areas that we kind of like clear out during like a big battle at around this point. Because it all kind of follows the same sort of thing where it's have a story in one area, have a story in another area, have a story in the third area. And once all 3 of those stories are done, you are directed to interact with the people that guard the city-state and the leader of that group. The leader of that group will then attack the bad guys. And the bad guys will have like this whole battle where you like fight them and you feel like a real army. And that's where we're at right now. It's too many blue. Run. Run while you still can. I'll do my duty. Is your duty to serve the Sultana, lad, and you'll be doing that for a good while yet. Oh hey, it's Papa Sean. Sultansworn, put these thieves to the sword and secure the crown. Sultansworn? No matter, kill them all. But yeah, like, I like how each of the 3 storylines, if you've been following them up to this point, all kind of coincide with this one moment. You know, these guys in purple are, are from the monk storyline. They're going after stuff that is passively like mentioned in the 1.0 Thaumaturge storyline. And at the end of the day, like, most of this stuff is revolving around the people that you eventually meet during the Paladin storyline. So it actually does make a lot of sense. I think there's even like a special like piece of dialogue, and for some reason you've actually made it all the way over here, like getting to level 50 with Paladin. I think there's like a special like piece of dialogue specifically about you actually being an honorary member of the Sultan Sworn when you do this. I need to actually kind of look into it to confirm that, but I think that that is in fact a thing. I do actually kind of like the fact that in this, the Paladins do kind of still feel like half tank, half healer. Because, you know, most Sword and Shield characters in fiction are kind of like that. Hearken to me, denizen of the abyss, slay these interlopers. Is that a void scent? Yield or be slain, thief. I will not ask you again. There we go. Apparently we killed both of them at the same time. Master Papashan, but why? And how? The general saw you sneak into the vaults, Owen. He suspected something was afoot and ordered us to keep an eye on you. Flame General? He ordered you to look after me. Master Papashan, more of them to the north. After them, Sultan Sworn, they'll have the crown. They have the crown. This lot sought only to delay us. Let us speak again back at the city. Yeah. Source of her strength becomes clear. You may have bested the golem, but you will not fare so well this day. O mournful voice of creation, send unto me a creature of the abyss, my thrall to command, that I might smite mine enemies. Your very being imperils the plan. Cannot be suffered to live. Ride as the venom eats away at your... What? No, don't use an antidote. That's cheating. Certainly have a knack for getting into trouble. Thanks for showing up, Thancred. An unwelcome guest. No matter, all shall fall before me. This is also one of the very few times that that this type of character actually has a class, like, associated with them in this robe. No mortal should possess such strength. Keep at it, Blue. We almost have him. Duty complete. That the wisdom of the Paragon should be brought low by mere mortals. Paragons? This is indeed a disturbing revelation. We long suspected the involvement of the Bringers of Chaos, Ascians to give them their true name. But we could not be sure that they are responsible for the recent disturbances. Until now, as the Sultanate needed any more enemies. Have we surely crossed paths with Ascians before? Well, we've certainly... Wait, I don't recall telling you about my homeland. Ah, yes, that's right. You're one of the gifted. You know, this marks the third time that I've found you in the midst of trouble. If I didn't know any better, I'd say you're a lodestone for it. Anyway, I'm glad I started following you around. Who knows what grand conspiracy you'll stumble upon next. I jest. Had I truly been watching your every move, I wouldn't have taken so long to intervene with your latest altercation. That's all well that ends well, eh? Our masked friend is no more, and while I very much doubt we've seen the last of his kind, his demise will likely grant us some respite. On that note, I must away. Until next time, Blue. So, I'm gonna spoil something. It's not too important, but it's important for me to kind of explain what just happened right there. Because without some details from 1.0, you're kind of in the dark about certain things. So, Ascians, the ones that are in the cloaks, usually using those purple crystals, kind of like the one that we found at the beginning of our story to kind of interact with the mother crystal, allows them to kind of possess a living body. If it's a dead body, like, they don't really need too much, but if it's a living body, they could use all of their skill sets and their knowledge to kind of bolster things about them. And oftentimes, they will just live inside of a body, but the only way that you could tell who it is because they have a crest above their head. And the black masks, as we find out very, very later, are basically Ascians in training. They usually are people of not really too much importance that is currently being possessed by one of the spirits, so that they can kind of act as a liaison between the actual Ascians, which have red masks, and the good guys, which are us. And it's actually really interesting that without some 1.0 context, we wouldn't really know what they mean by paragons, because they don't really bring up the phrase paragon later. But yeah, that was the original name for the group, and Ascians were basically the name of their race. So it's like, okay, so these body-swapping creatures of darkness are running around doing stuff, and paragons are what the black masked Ascians in training called the red masked leaders. Okay, And so everyone just goes, oh, okay. We'll get more into their lore so further down the road that you might actually forget that I even talked about this. But I think the most important part about the whole thing is the fact that there were several characters in 1.0 and some points of 2.0 that don't really get discussed too often, and it's one of the reasons why I kind of wanted to showcase a lot of the story stuff, is because you get to a situation where you kind of forget about certain story bits as you're going forward, and they kind of expect you to know it. Like, for instance, one aspect of a story bit in Shadowbringers is intrinsic on the fact that you did a side quest in, I think, either the end of Heavensward or the beginning of Stormblood. And if you didn't do that, you're going to be in the dark what everyone is talking about. And it's a yellow, it's like one of these yellow side quests that don't really give you much more than some money and experience from doing them. It's so funny. Everyone's waiting for you inside, Adventure. Does it surprise you to see me dressed so blue? I was once a Sultansworn, you know. Though it's been 15 years since I put down my sword and took up the role of Station Master. It's a capacity which I am no less proud to serve. Lest you doubt, whenever Her Grace ventures outside the gates, I have the honor of protecting her in person. Never before had I seen her so despondent as when the news of the crown theft reached her ears. But thanks to your valiant efforts, she has returned to her former vibrant self. And you have my gratitude for every Sultansworn Blue.
Exalted vessel of Ul'dahn, guardian of Thanalan, 17th ascendant to the throne of Ul'dahn, Her Royal Majesty Ul'dahn presides.
I just remembered that I didn't turn my audio back up. 1 second. Now that should be a little bit more clearer. It's going to be really loud for a second, and then I'll bring it back down so I can, match the audio.
Long live Nanamo!
Long live
Glory
Nanamo!
to the
Glory
Sultana!
to the Sultana!
Forever may she
Forever
reign!
may she reign!
Maybe you should have synchronized that a little bit better.
With tales of a champion amongst champions, once whose tireless service to the crown merited the highest honor we might bestow. Never did it occur to me that it might be you. Bring it forth! Betokening our gratitude and esteem, I, Ul'dahn, Sultana of Ul'dahn, confer upon you this gift. Raubahn,
Your Grace,
see to it that our champion is my personal guest at the banquet.
as you command, Your Grace. If what they say is true, Ul'dahn owes you a great debt. I am Raubahn al-Din. With the consent of Her Grace, I oversee the affairs of the Sultanate. Brave souls are few and far between in these times. I count my blessings when I find one. Her Grace invites you to join her at the coming banquet. I trust I will see you there.
Yeah, sure.
An honor!
Indeed.
Come, hero!
Until then, for the sake of Her Grace and the glory of the Sultanate, may you walk in the light of the crystal.
Well, that was neat. I would like to speak to you regarding the Sultana's invitation. By the 12 Blue, for an adventurer to receive a personal invitation from Her Grace is unprecedented. Seats at these banquets are offered only to the most distinguished of individuals. You'll be dining with some of the most influential people in Ul'dahn. There are, of course, certain protocols that must be observed, but I am no authority on them. Fear not, however, Mistress Momodi has been long responsible for the familiarizing foreign guests with our customs. Pray return to the quicksand to speak with her, and she will tell you all you need to know. Okay, just head back down. And my stomach still feels kind of weird. But I am not in immediate danger. Man, anyone who makes fun of, anyone that uses the, here, let's take ibuprofen together, has never had to take 4 within 3 hours, 4 within 2 hours of each other. Don't do that. Actually, while we're here. So you might be wondering why the audio is always low and I always keep having to, like, move this around. And it literally is because when I am doing dungeon stuff with my FC, I always turn the audio of the actual game down so I can hear everyone at the call. You know, that makes sense, you know? Welcome back, Blue, and congratulations on your invite to the big soiree. To be honest, I never imagined I'd be explaining these procedures to you. Usually it's only foreign dignitaries that get to hear me prattle on and on about royal traditions. Any road, I think... I know you're a busy woman, so I'll keep it short and sweet. In accordance with ancient custom, all guests to this banquet are required to wear a pair of ceremonial earrings made specifically for the occasion. They're meant to symbolize... Okay, actually, forget about this. This is supposed to be the short version. Being of a design unique to the occasion, the earrings serve as a security measure. The Sultan Sworn won't let you near the hall without them. Your set should already be waiting for you at the Goldsmith Guild. Mistress Serendipity is expecting you, so you want to head down there for now. Once you've got them, bring them back here and we'll continue. So, a weird little bit of story building is that none of the actual, like, crafting classes ever really remember you. Sometimes they will remember you between other crafting guilds, because sometimes you interact with different ones. But it's really weird that it's like, hey, we're, you know, a level 15 goldsmith. But, like, if we talk to Serendipity, greetings, is something I can help you with? Oh, Blue, your earrings are right here. I crafted them myself. I'll have you know. I think you'll be very pleased. In case Mistress Momodi didn't warn you, the box is locked, and I am not permitted to give you the key. It's a final safeguard, you see. Only designated individuals are authorized to distribute the earrings to guests. In this instance, the person in question is none other than Mistress Momodi, so you'll need to ask her to open the box on your behalf. Pardon the inconvenience, but the Sultan Sworn take her Grace's safety very seriously. So that piece of dialogue plays exactly the same way. Even if you don't have a, even if you don't have any levels in Goldsmith. Honestly, I think it's a missed opportunity. Like, the only time that I actually, like, know for a fact that crafting classes come into play is that if you are like level like 70 or higher, and you get to a certain part where it's like, state your name and business, you could lie to someone and go like, this name, I'm an artisan. And if you were level 70 in any of the crafting classes, they're like, oh yeah, I've heard about your work. You're, I have like, certain people in my life who knows about your work. That's pretty neat. And I'm just like, huh. Picked up the earrings yet, Blue? Rosewood box. A tiny box carved from a single piece of rosewood. Let me just... Well, now looks like the guildmaster outdid herself with this pair. You best take a good look at the earrings. If they... Take good care. If they fell into the wrong hands, gods only know what might happen. Now then, I hope you're feeling sociable, Blue, because you're about to hobnob with Ul'dahn's elite. Let me know when you're ready to head to the banquet. So, if I remember correctly, you don't actually need to equip them, but let's just equip them just to be sure. Momodi wants to see you off to the banquet. This is it, Blue. Big debut in Ul'dahn High Society. The banquet is being held in the Fragrant Chamber. Fragrant? Fragrant. I'm so bad with reading words sometimes. Head over to the Royal Promenade and Bartholomew will let you in. Oh, but be sure to put your earrings on first or he'll send you packing. Right then, I reckon that's everything. Try not to let all this pomp and ceremony get to you. Just be yourself and you'll be fine. Okay. Let me actually just, like, double check. Also, I want to sell the stuff that I have right now so I can kind of get them out of my inventory. So I'm going to do this really fast and then we'll be on our way. Two and a half hours with only minimal editing in the middle. Honestly, I think that's pretty good so far. I might actually just fully just set off to the next town and then end it there. By the way, I love how they give you antidotes right before the part where you get poisoned. It's like they firmly believe that you're going to do that. Okay, equip. I do not have the capacity to put stuff into the Salada just yet. Maybe I just put them into it, not because I actually need the stats, but because I just want them off of my, want them out of my inventory, you know? Ah, yeah. I'm like, why can't I put any, why can't I put anything into my, yeah, why can't I put anything into my stuff? And they look at it and say, oh, they're not leveled enough for that. Huh. Yeah, sure, let's just put the spell speed there anyway. Like, I don't actually need it because none of the things I use even are spells. I think the only ones that actually would care about spell speed are specifically casters and healers. And for some reason, I thought that anything that's ranged deals with skills, with spell speed. But apparently, like, the things that want skill speed the most are ranged DPS, I had to blink a few times. Dang. Oh, I don't want to go in looking like a, Okay, it really is a, really is a thing where it's, we can't even interact unless we, have the earrings on. The earrings on. Hello, Bartholomew and twin brother Bartholomew. A banquet hosted by Her Grace, the Sultana, is due to begin shortly. Attendance is invitation only. Please make way for the arriving guests. We're honored to receive you, milady. Please proceed inside.
All hail the Sultana! Your Grace.
Ul'dahn?
I think they literally repeated that voice clip.
By right of the Royal House of Ul, I, Nanamo, 17th of my line, have summoned you here. We are graced this day by the presence of a hero to Ul'dahn and dear friend to the crown. Honored guests, I give you our champion! And with that, I bid you enjoy the feast.
Not to spoil your appetite, but Ul'dahn is hardly so bountiful as this meal would have you believe. While we gorge ourselves, children starve in the streets, nor can Her Grace do aught to help them. She is thwarted at every turn by those on the Syndicate who derive their wealth from the workers' poverty. Beneath her mask of stately serenity, she is aghast at the plight of her subjects. But there will be no hope for the masses until the crown is restored to power.
That's cool and all, but, did you approach me to tell me that I needed to do something about it? Like, what's up?
I am truly grateful for all you have done for Ul'dahn. But there is so much more to do. That light, what is it?
Oh, it's just this glowing rock I found the other day. Pretty neat,
So
huh?
bright. Almost like by the 12. Tell me true. Have you been troubled by strange dreams of late? Visions of the crystal? Mayhap you put them down to an excess of ether? Yes, you are like they were. Allow me to explain. Before you came to Eorzea, there were others like you who fought the Primals. Though they were not of this land, when the Guardian Empire threatened the realm, they helped bring together the 3 grand companies. And they stood with us at Cartano, that fateful day 5 years ago. The day we lost them. None who survived have forgotten the hero's sacrifice. Nor would any man deny they fought alongside us. But the names of these heroes come not to our lips. The once familiar pages of their story are now blank to us. And in our mind's eye, their faces are naught but silhouettes amid a blinding glare. It is for this reason that we have come to call them the Warriors of Light. When I look at you, I cannot help but think of them, and of what you might achieve. You must protect that crystal at all costs. It is a gift from Heidelin, mother of all, and one she gave to you for a reason. Yours is no ordinary tale. If I am right, the fate of the realm may yet hang upon your deeds. Only heroes and martyrs are fit to bear such a burden. Let us pray you are the former.
I'm gonna just let this cutscene play out, in auto, just so you can kind of like feel it. Also, so I can like get up and go craft something really quickly, since this is a period without too much of my input that's needed.
Flames to the fore! Victory belongs to the bold! Show those Imperial whore sons what we're made of!
The left flank buckles. Divert the barracudas. Bid 'em hold that position, though it costs them their lives.
The yellow serpents are in need of succor. Pray, send the white wolves to their aid. The adventurers risk life and limb for our cause. We must not fail them.
Is aught amiss?
No, it is nothing.
Bloody hells! The barrier won't go down!
Oh, that's my bad. Forgot that sound effects don't play when I'm not tabbed in.
We are being watched.
Raging Bull, calling Bloodthorn! Bloodthorn, respond! Respond, damn you!
Raging Bull, this is Mad Snake. Respond.
Ryder, this is Raging Bull. What news?
We're surrounded by a blaze. There is no way out. Gods preserve, what is that thing?
What's going on? Speak to me!
Gods damn it! We cannot hold much longer.
Mad Snake! Mad Snake! Answer me!
I just love that really low-key Metal Gear reference.
Damn it! Damn it all to the seventh hell!
What of the barracudas? Can they not be reached?
Sorry, Admiral. Shell's not working.
What of our own?
I cannot say, my lady. That monstrosity appears to be disrupting our communications.
We must keep trying. Call till they respond.
Yes, my lady.
Admiral, General, we can do no more. We must give the order to withdraw.
I will not forsake Louis Soir!
General, please. Victory may belong to the bold, but there will be no victor this day. You know this to be true. Let us not sacrifice lives in vain. The adventurers fight bravely, but to no avail. Let them withdraw, and let us be the ones to stand with Louis Soir.
Belay previous orders. All Maelstrom units are commanded to fall back, effective immediately. Give the foreign levy priority. Let the main host cover their retreat and bring up the rear.
Damn it! Relay the order. All flames are to withdraw. I don't care if our link cells are useless. You still have a working pair of legs, don't you? Well, use them, you bloody half-wit!
The outcome of this battle was long since decided. Better to retreat now than risk a massacre. This dark, stifling presence. Who or what? We go to take our place beside Archon Louis Soir. To your positions.
Kasbamul, Sogini Muese Donzul. Logalo, Asawad Deken Bet Mubut. Imarat way, Kiskat Toga Hats Wadadorns. Sis Nigem, Fisdun the only Lamrai Sadai Dorn.
Oh, sorry. Forgot the... It's still considered the same cutscene right there for a second. Give me a second while I, read this again. I'm feeling blue. They said you fainted in the middle of one of the general's stories. Had to have you carried back to the Hourglass. I reckon that you made an impression on your fellow guests, though probably not the sort you intended. You sure you aren't getting, you're getting enough rest, Blue? The life of an adventurer can be pretty taxing. Okay, that should be the last message I have to send out right now. Anyway, I'm glad that you're back to normal. No offense, but looking after you was getting a bit tiresome. Oh, before I forget, the general left a message for you. Said that when you're feeling up to it, you should come and see him at the Hall of Flames. Probably want to finish the story he was telling you when you fell asleep. Yeah. Again, only about like 2 hours with like some minor break to make sure that my stomach isn't empty. Fairly good so far. Exit room. Okay. Just a short walk over there, but like, I kind of wanted to just go over what kind of was being talked about during the flashback. So, if you look back into episode 1, there was this whole scene of effectively the stand-in for the characters from 1.0 being defended by someone that we're about to find out is the character that they refer to as Louis Soir. And that was happening around the same time, as you can kind of see from all of the strikes from Bahamut just slamming down into the ground. Which, again, pretty devastating, but only really the people that were on the ground were directly affected by the ensuing light that came off from it. And so any person who was like there that day that didn't immediately come back, like every single one of them got kind of deleted from people's memories. So all of those soldiers that died in that battle and all the ones that lived basically no longer had a place to come back to because they no longer exist effectively. Everyone kind of forgot about them. If you want to take it that way, our character is basically an amnesiac who was there on that day. Like, this is the story between 1.0 and 2.0. There's slight dialogue if you're a legacy character that confirms this, but this is true for every single character that was there that day, where they basically forgot who they were, people forgot who they were, and basically 5 years later slink back into their home cities pretending to be adventurers, being like, yeah, I'm here for the first time and I'm remaking my life. They basically come back from square one. So effectively, our character was there that day, and just coming back here, like, they get immediate, like, rush of ether to remind them that this is where that happened. Like, it's pretty interesting. Like, the whole, it's not allegation, the whole theory that our character, even if they aren't a Legacy 1.0 character, has this sort of, like, inherent memory loss to them. And I think it's really fascinating. I kind of like the way that they kind of address the fact that, hey, you may not have the cool back tattoo or like Charlian neck mark that some of the other Legacy characters have, to show that they are like an older character. But the cool thing that it is they imply that, yeah, your character did exist there, and the only real, like, difference is Legacy characters get it confirmed for them. And I think that's kind of cool. I like everything about that. I've been waiting for you, Blue. I trust you've fully recovered. Good, because there's much work to be done. Work that I would have you do. Listen well, Blue. This will take some time to explain. I've prepared these letters for my counterparts in the Eorzean Alliance. 5 years ago, we looked on, powerless as our brothers and sisters were taken from us at Carchino. First by the Garleans, and then by the twice-damned Primal called forth by their treachery. Not a day goes by that I do not think about my fallen comrades, and the warriors of light, of whom no trace remained. The tragedies of the calamity are not so easily forgotten, nor should they be. In remembering all that we've lost, we're reminded of what we still have. And so I mean to mark the 5th anniversary of the Battle of Carchino with a memorial service honoring the fallen. It is my hope that my counterparts in the Alliance will agree to do the same. And I would have you bear my words to them, as my personal envoy. Why you? Because your deeds mark you out as the nearest thing I have to a warrior of light. I can think of none more worthy of the role. The question is, will you accept it? Then it is agreed. You will journey to Gridania and Limsa Lumensa as my official representative. Now, that's a great many miles to travel, but I've neither the time nor patience to ride around while you do it on foot. I hereby grant you the permission to use the airship routes connecting the 3 city-states. This pass serves as proof of your privilege. Gone are the days when airship travel was available to all. The ever-present threat of imperial taxes forced us to impose drastic restrictions out of concern for public safety. These passes are only granted when circumstance demands it, as in this case. Though there were others who insisted you be granted one regardless. Blue. I'm not alone in seeing it. Your potential is plain. But I've said enough. In the name of the Sultana, I bid you go forth. See for yourself the wonders of the realm, for which the warriors of light risked all. Rise to your calling and fulfill your promise. As should your path be barred by man or beast, strike fast and true, for victory belongs to the bold. Now, Blue, go and heed the crystal's guidance that you should never lose your way. There we go. Now we just gotta speak. So in my original recording of this episode, I said, and this is where we're gonna stop for now, so we can do all the other classes. You are very thankful that I have basically ripped that out of my brain to try to do that here and now. Because honestly, like, it really did kill the pacing, and it's one of the reasons why I cut that whole section out. Because originally what I was going to do was cut the episode there, and then continue on from after that, but still have all the classes going on. Like, I think in one of the episodes, I think it's episode 6, like, you can actually see on my hotbar that I was like running around with Monk and Thaumaturge levels going on. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of streamline this whole thing, so it's a lot more easier to coincide with it being, you know, a story playthrough. Ah, back from your meeting with Ul'dahn, are you? What did the big man have to say? Is that a fact? Personal envoy, so you'll be bearing the big man's words to the leaders of the Alliance. Will you? And by airship. Bugger me, that's an honor and a half, that is. I can't think of anyone who deserves it more. I'm proud of you, Blue. I truly am. Now I dare say Raban told you this, but not too many people get to go on airships these days. In fact, most folk go to the grave without seeing once in Eorzea from above. Poor buggers shuffle off and meet Thal, having never known the blues of Lim's shimmering seas or the myriad greens of leafy Gridania. But not you, Blue. You'll see those sights and more, and everywhere you'll go, and you'll find fascinating folk with fascinating tales to tell. The people you meet, the places you go, savor these experiences, for they are priceless all. Saying that, it will be remiss of me if I don't remind you to be careful out there. Gridania ain't the only place beset by troubles, as you'll discover when you visit Limsa and Gridania. Truth be told, might as well be exactly what the General wants you to realize. I think he knows what kind of woman you are, Blue. And what kind's that, you ask? Well, the kind that can't resist sticking her nose into other people's business, of course. And don't you ever go changing. Safe travels, Blue. I'll see you when you get back. On the bright side, poisoning myself apparently got rid of my gas. Ugh. Well, this was an interesting episode to kind of literally, like, slowly die through. Do I want to right now? Yeah. I have no money to do it. I miscalculated. So I do not have nearly enough, like, magnitudes enough to, like, I do not have enough by magnitudes, to be able to purchase the metallic, dye that I like using for the glasses. Like, let's just, like, casually glance over here at the market board to see how much a metallic dye goes for. Dyes... Really? Huh. I guess they don't want to show me right now. But the metallic dyes usually go for like tens if not hundreds of thousands for each. So unfortunately, I am forced to contend with the fact they just have to go 5. Two more for Rose. Two more for Bone. Two more for Ice. So we got Ash Gray for that color. Gonna get 5 Gloom Purple. We're gonna get 5 Moss Green. Do I even have enough to get 5 of that? I do, but that was probably a little bit too much money. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit too much money. I just wanted to heal. I just wanted to make sure that all of my that my gear is all topped off before I head out. Oh, let me just re-equip some of my stuff. Like, I know several people that don't, but I really like actually having my gear on me because it feels more realistic. The only thing I don't like is my braid kind of clipping into the back of my shield, which is kind of annoying. For a while, I was actually running around with with an invisible shield, and only really using using every like kind of thing, and using a blue sword that you can craft at level 20. That's basically it. Greetings, ma'am. This is the reservation counter for the passengers traveling to Limsa Lamensa. If I'm not mistaken, you are the Flame General's envoy. Blue Cashmere, yes? Highwind Skyways is at your service. Will you be riding with us today? Okay, let's get on the Highwind. Okay, so during this questline, it's one of the only times that you can actually like get back here. Because in 1.0, what would happen is that you would buy a pass, you would go through, sit onto one of these, or wait for it to come back, and basically ride it in real time from one place to another. It was to make it so that quote-unquote fast travel wasn't as fast as it could be. Like, it was timer-based stuff, where it's like, whenever there was like a boat or a airship that was going from one place to another, you had to physically get onto it and wait, because that was a fun part, I say fun in quotation marks, a fun part of World of Warcraft, is that there was a physical boat that you would go in between of different areas that had a, in which both factions from either side would be able to like see each other on the ship, and so you had to kind of treat it as neutral ground or be completely beaten down by like the other side's overwhelming force. And they made them contentious places, you know? Well, time to head off. Attention all passengers. The airship bound for Limsa Lamensa is about to depart. Please make your way to the boarding gate. Hey Flash, made it just in time for me to end off. Because I was trying to get to this cutscene specifically and then kind of wrap it up so I can edit out the pauses I had. When I first met beneath the Sultan tree, I sensed there was something unusual about her. I wonder if they'll feel the same. Godspeed. Godspeed, Blue. If I'm right, they'll be singing your praises from here to Farreach before too long. May you always walk in the light of the crystal. Look at all the characters we met. No, it's okay. Oluk's story. Very small text. Castrum Ocker. Ocker. I could never actually pronounce this place correctly.
has been 15 years, but the bitter taste of defeat lingers still. 15 years since the Imperial fleet set course for Mordona, led by the Egrios, mightiest of all vessels. Silver Till lay ripe for the taking, and all of Eorzea would soon be ours. Or so we believed. But an innumerable host of dragons met us that day, at the heart of which flew the great Nilfgaard Zormer. Though we succeeded in slaying that lord among worms, the dread serpent's defeat was bought at too high a price. Our invincible flagship was lost, and all hope of victory with her. So ended our glorious conquest.
I like how that whole section from 1.0 is like, oh yeah, it's just like a cutscene. I think it's important for you to know. Oh yeah, the World Serpent kind of died that day. Hope you're aware of that.
Eorzea, a blighted realm, riddled with false gods. Twice now it has eluded the Empire's grasp. For all the destruction it wrought, even Meteor, the great sin, failed to yield us control over it. And for this failure, the realm has sunk deeper into depravity. It is twisted beyond all reckoning, rotten nigh to the core. Yet, it must be saved. Only Garlean rule can bring order to Eorzea. It falls to us to deliver the misguided masses from their ignorance.
We are of one mind, Lord Van Balzar.
Senior engineers, please report to Magitech research following scheduled inspection.
Hey, is the Legatus really planning to take another tilt at Eorzea?
Hey? What hole have you been hiding in? We're in the midst of preparing for a new campaign, and a huge one at that.
But I thought the Emperor had given up the Western lands for lost after Carteneau. What could the Legatus possibly hope to gain by acting alone?
I sense you harbor certain doubts over the wisdom of the Legatus's plan.
My lord!
Please, call me Nero. Tell me, where were you born?
Ul'dahn, my lord.
Alamigo, my lord.
Ah, codename Hummingway, I presume?
I don't know what you...
Silence. Your denials will not change your fate. I assure you, Frumentarium sees all. Clean up this mess, and do not miss any, or I shall be most displeased.
At once, my lord.
Garland, soon you will be made to know the true power of Magitech.
I like how many people who have absolutely no idea of any piece of storyline of 1.0 go into that, who don't know anything about Final Fantasy, and they go, here's a bunch of names. So yeah, that was the culmination of like a 1.0 storyline that kind of got like thrown to the wolves, as it were. But we kind of get to see. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be such a weird thing to say, but Final Fantasy XIV's effectively their version of the the evil group from like Final Fantasy IV. And so it's like, oh, okay, so like here's the group that we will slowly whittle down to just the leader, and then we fight the leader as a big climax. And it's like, yeah, effectively. And Nero is like one of the main elements of it, and you could definitely tell that they gave him a lot more of a showing, because they had to kind of define who he was early. Ah, you must be the Envoy from Ul'dahn. Welcome to the Limps of Lametza, ma'am. Admiral Blofuswin, which I have heard that name enough to know how it's pronounced, awaits your arrival. You can tell when a character is a Rogadan because their name is just in Welsh. It's so funny. You're the Ul'dahn Envoy. Welcome to Limps of Lametza. The Admiral's been looking forward to your arrival. Please proceed to the Crow's Lift at your earliest convenience. It'll take you to Bulwark Hall. Once there, pray speak with Zenthale. He will be pleased to show you to the Admiral's command room on the bridge. Yeah. And again, like, this is basically where we're stopping for today, because there's some parts that I needed to edit out, even if I didn't want to. And I really do need to get some sleep, because it's just about midnight right now. Anyway, I'll see y'all later on the next one. Goodbye.